The warning. Alert, unknown vessel detected. Classification, Warship. Origin, unregistered. Threat level, maximum. The warning blared across every ship in the Zetharian battle fleet, interrupting the largest space battle the Andromeda sector had seen in 3 centuries. Admiral Krovak of the Zetharian Empire froze as his neural interface displayed the impossible readings. Between his fleet and the hegemony forces they'd been engaging, a massive vessel had just appeared. "What do you mean, unregistered?" he snarled at his sensor chief. "Every spacefaring race in the galaxy is registered." The massive view screens showed a vessel unlike anything they'd ever encountered. Its hull gleamed with a metal that seemed to drink in the light of nearby stars, and its design defied every known principle of space warfare. No visible weapon ports, no standard engine configuration, just smooth, predatory elegance that screamed of advanced technology. "Sir." His communications officer's voice cracked. "We're receiving a broadcast on all frequencies, using perfect Zetharian language. This is Captain James Harrison of the HMS Sovereign, Earth Defense Force." The voice carried authority that made even Krovak's spines bristle. "Both the Zetharian Empire and the Hegemony are hereby ordered to cease hostilities immediately." The battle, which had raged for hours between the 2 mighty fleets, stuttered to a confused halt. 300 ships of war, the pride of 2 galactic powers, hung motionless as their commanders tried to process this unprecedented situation. "Who dares?" The Hegemony Supreme Commander's voice thundered across the command channel. "Who dares to order their combined Hegemony fleet?" The response came not in words but in action. The human warship's surface rippled, and suddenly every targeting system in both fleets went dark. Weapons powered down automatically. Shield generators hummed in confusion. "We dare," Harrison's voice remained calm. "Your weapons are temporarily disabled. Your shields are operating at minimal capacity. This is not an act of aggression, merely a demonstration." Admiral Krovak's tactical display showed the impossible truth. Somehow, this single vessel had neutralized the combat capabilities of both fleets simultaneously. Technology that should not exist. Power that shouldn't be possible. "Sir," his science officer whispered, "their energy readings, they are beyond our classification scale. And their hull, it's not just armor. It's alive somehow." "All fleet commanders," Harrison continued, "you will notice your long-range communications are still functional. Contact your governments. Inform them that humanity has decided to end this conflict before it spreads to neutral systems. We have watched long enough." The revelation hit Krovak like a physical blow. They had been watched. Studied. Judged. For how long? How had they never detected Earth's presence? "This is your only warning," Harrison's voice hardened. "Humanity has chosen to emerge onto the galactic stage not as conquerors, but as peacekeepers. We possess technologies and capabilities beyond your current understanding. We will not allow this war to threaten innocent lives any longer." As if to emphasize the point, the Sovereign's hull briefly became transparent, revealing layer upon layer of technology that made the most advanced Zetharian systems look primitive in comparison. It was a calculated display of superiority that sent shockwaves through both fleets. "You have 1 standard hour to begin peace negotiations," Harrison concluded. "The HMS Sovereign will remain to ensure compliance. Be advised, this is not a request. This is not a negotiation. This is humanity's first and only warning to the galaxy: the era of unchecked warfare is over." Admiral Krovak sank into his command chair, his mind racing. In all his centuries of service, he had never encountered anything like this. 1 ship. 1 human ship had just stopped the 2 most powerful fleets in the galaxy without firing a single shot. As emergency meetings were called and panicked messages flew between ships, a new reality settled over the battlefield. Humanity had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same. The warning had been issued, and the galaxy trembled at its implications. The age of humanity had begun not with a bang, but with a quiet, terrifying demonstration of power that no one could ignore. The emergency council chamber aboard the Zetharian flagship buzzed with tension. Holograms of various fleet commanders flickered in the air, their faces showing varying degrees of outrage, fear, and confusion. Admiral Krovac stood at the center, his scaled hands gripping the tactical display as he studied the human warship that had turned their battlefield into a peace conference. "Our deep space intelligence has failed us completely," growled Commander Vexthar of the Third Fleet. "How did we miss an entire civilization capable of this level of technology?" The chamber's doors slid open, admitting a small delegation. Captain Harrison of the HMS Sovereign entered, flanked by 2 human officers. The room fell silent. In person, the humans appeared deceptively fragile, soft-skinned, with no natural armor or visible defensive capabilities. Yet they walked with absolute confidence. "Your intelligence didn't fail," Harrison said, his voice carrying easily across the chamber. "We didn't want to be found. Earth has been watching, learning, and preparing for over 50 years. The Hegemony Supreme Commander, joining via hologram, leaned forward. "Impossible. Our sensor networks cover every approach to this sector." Lieutenant Commander Grace Wong, one of Harrison's officers, smiled slightly. "Your sensor networks are based on quantum field detection and tachyon emissions. We abandoned those technologies as too easily detectable 30 years ago. Our phantom drive leaves no trace in normal space." The revelation sent shockwaves through the assembled commanders. The implications were staggering. Humanity's technology had evolved along a completely different path than the rest of the galaxy. "Perhaps a demonstration is in order," Harrison suggested. He nodded to his other officer, Technical Director Jordan Martinez, who activated a small device. The tactical display suddenly expanded, showing hundreds of previously invisible signals throughout the sector. Ghost signatures of human observation posts, stealth satellites, and monitoring stations appeared, forming a vast network that had been watching both empires for decades. "By the first star," whispered Krovac. "You've been everywhere. Watching everything." "Not as enemies," Harrison assured them. "As cautious neighbors. We needed to understand the galaxy before revealing ourselves. Today's intervention wasn't planned, but we couldn't stand by and watch this conflict escalate further." The Hegemony Commander's hologram flickered as he leaned back. "You speak of peace while demonstrating overwhelming military superiority. Some might call that hypocrisy. Some might call it practical," Harrison countered. "The HMS Sovereign could have destroyed both fleets. Instead, we chose to demonstrate our capabilities in a way that saved lives. Earth has no interest in conquest, we've seen enough of our own history to know better." Martinez activated another display, showing the human warship's internal schematics. It was a calculated risk, revealing some of their technology, but one designed to make a point. The assembled alien commanders stared in amazement at systems that defied their understanding of physics. "Your weapons," Krovac noted, "they are not just for destruction. Every system is designed to disable rather than destroy." "Correct," Wong confirmed. "The Sovereign carries enough firepower to reduce planets to ash, but its primary weapons are designed for precise intervention. We believe true power lies in the ability to end conflicts without wholesale slaughter." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just developed superior technology, they developed it along philosophical lines that the warring empires had never considered. "You mentioned watching us for 50 years, one of the Hegemony commanders said slowly. "What else have you learned?" Harrison's expression remained neutral, but his eyes showed a hint of sadness. "We learned that both your empires have forgotten the cost of war. Your automated fleets and drone soldiers have made conflict too easy, too distant. Earth remembers. We still bear the scars of our own wars." The tactical display shifted again, showing the refugee ships and civilian stations that had been caught in the crossfire of the Empire's war. "This ends now," Harrison stated firmly. "Earth is extending an invitation to both empires to join us in creating a new framework for galactic peace. And if we refuse," the Hegemony Supreme Commander challenged, "then the HMS Sovereign will remain here, continuing to prevent further hostilities," Harrison replied calmly. "And for every warship you send, you'll find more human vessels emerging from the shadows." We've already proven we can disable your fleets without bloodshed. Don't force us to demonstrate what happens when we actually decide to fight. The threat hung in the air, made all the more potent by its quiet delivery. The human warship had changed everything, not just through its superior technology, but through its demonstration that there was another way to wage war. A way that prioritized precision over destruction, prevention over retaliation. As the council chamber erupted into heated discussions, Harrison and his officers withdrew. They had planted the seeds. Now it was time to see if two ancient empires could learn new ways from their youngest galactic neighbor. Breaking point. Deep within the Hegemony flagship's secure command center, Supreme Commander Zarketh watched the encrypted transmissions from his hidden battle groups with growing fury. The humans hadn't just stopped their main fleet, they'd somehow detected and neutralized every contingency force he'd positioned throughout the sector. "Sir," his intelligence chief reported, "we've lost contact with Strike Group 7. Another human warship has appeared, designation HMS Defiant. They didn't even fire a shot. Our ships just stopped." Zarkether's facial ridges darkened with rage. For 3,000 cycles, the Hegemony had dominated through superior firepower. Now these humans made their weapons look like children's toys. Aboard the HMS Sovereign, Captain Harrison received the reports with grim satisfaction. "They are testing us, exactly as predicted," he told his senior staff. "Time to show them our second act." Lieutenant Commander Wong's hands danced over her console, activating the quantum entanglement network. Across the sector, 30 more human warships dropped their stealth fields. Each vessel was unique in design but shared the same predatory elegance as the Sovereign. Message from Admiral Chen on the HMS Avalon, Technical Director Martinez announced. "The Zetharian reinforcement fleet has stood down. They are requesting talks." Harrison nodded. The Zetharians, despite their warrior culture, had always shown more wisdom than the Hegemony. They recognized an unwinnable scenario when they saw one. The ship's AI, Aria, manifested its holographic form. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from the Hegemony flagship. They appear to be activating their forbidden weapons vault." Harrison's expression hardened. Earth's intelligence had warned about this, the Hegemony's cache of planet-killer weapons, banned by every galactic treaty but kept in reserve. "Send the signal. Execute Operation Looking Glass." Throughout the Hegemony flagship, every screen and holographic display suddenly changed. The ship's own security feeds played back decades of secret meetings, weapon tests, and violated treaties. Every dark secret the Hegemony had hidden was laid bare, not just to their own crew, but broadcasting on all frequencies to every ship in the sector. "Impossible!" Zarketh roared, watching his empire's darkest secrets exposed. "Our security was compromised 50 years ago," Harrison's voice cut through every channel. "Earth didn't just watch your ships and stations. We watched your leaders. Your secret bases. Every atrocity, every broken treaty, every assassinated peace delegate, we saw it all." The Sovereign's massive form shifted, its living metal rippling as it reconfigured into an even more threatening configuration. The message was clear: humanity had held back its true capabilities. "Your crew is watching," Harrison continued. "Your allies are watching. The refugee worlds you've terrorized are watching. The choice is yours, Supreme Commander. Stand down, or be remembered as the leader who destroyed the Hegemony through his own pride." In the tense minutes that followed, dozens of Hegemony ships began powering down their weapons. Crew members, faced with undeniable evidence of their leadership's corruption, chose conscience over loyalty. Zarketh watched helplessly as his fleet turned against him. The humans hadn't just defeated his military, they'd shattered the very foundation of fear and secrecy that had kept the Hegemony in power for millennia. Admiral Krovak's voice came over the general frequency: "The Zetharian Empire formally requests admission to Earth's peace initiative. We recognize that the old ways must end." Harrison allowed himself a small smile. The galaxy was changing faster than anyone had predicted. Earth's strategy of overwhelming technological superiority combined with moral authority had worked better than they'd hoped. "Captain," Arya interrupted, the Hegemony flagship is powering up its main drive. Supreme Commander Zarketh is attempting to reach their superweapon facility in the Deneb sector. Not anymore, Harrison replied calmly. As if on cue, another human vessel shimmered into existence directly in front of the Hegemony flagship. The HMS Excalibur, even larger than the Sovereign, had been waiting for this very moment. Supreme Commander, a new voice joined the channel, Captain Priya Patel of the Excalibur. The facility you're thinking of was decommissioned by our Special Operations teams 3 hours ago. Would you like to see the footage? The breaking point had been reached. Throughout the sector, Hegemony commanders were surrendering, their crews unwilling to fight for a regime whose lies had been exposed. The Zetharians were already proposing joint patrols with human vessels to maintain the peace. In less than one standard day, humanity had reshaped the power structure of an entire sector. Not through overwhelming destruction, but through a precise application of truth, technology, and the threat of force. Send word to Earth Command, Harrison ordered quietly. Phase 1 is complete. The galaxy is ready for what comes next. The real work, building a lasting peace between civilizations that had known only war, was just beginning. But humanity had proven itself more than capable of enforcing that peace, one sector at a time. Power shift. In the aftermath of the Hegemony's collapse, the galaxy held its breath. The HMS Sovereign's quantum communications array lit up with transmissions from 100 worlds and species, all asking the same question: who were these humans who had reshaped the balance of power in a single day? Captain Harrison stood in the Sovereign's observation deck, watching as joint human-Zetharian patrols escorted former Hegemony vessels to designated checkpoints. The living metal of his ship's hull pulsed softly, responding to the heightened activity around it. "Sir," Lieutenant Commander Wong called from her station, "we're detecting multiple fold space ruptures. Large fleet signatures emerging." Harrison didn't flinch. Earth had expected this. The power vacuum created by the Hegemony's fall would draw opportunists like moths to flame. Time to show the galaxy that humanity's reach extended far beyond this sector. The fold space ruptures bloomed into existence, disgorging a massive fleet of sleek, predatory vessels. The Kraken Dominion, infamous for exploiting moments of weakness between greater powers, had arrived with conquest in mind. "This sector is now under Kraken protection," boomed a voice across all frequencies. "All vessels will power down and prepare for boarding." Harrison exchanged glances with Technical Director Martinez, who nodded. Across the sector, hidden quantum sensors activated, painting a complete picture of the Kraken fleet's capabilities. Earth had been watching them too. "Aria," Harrison addressed the ship's AI, "initiate Protocol Prometheus." The effect was instantaneous. Throughout the Kraken fleet, ships suddenly lost power, their highly advanced AI systems subverted by code that Earth had planted years ago. The entire invasion force hung dead in space, their crews trapped inside ships that no longer recognized their authority. "This is Captain James Harrison of the Earth Defense Force," his voice carried across every vessel in the sector. The Kraken Dominion's reputation for opportunistic conquest is well known. So is their reliance on stolen AI technology they never fully understood. On the Kraken flagship's bridge, Admiral Vexthor watched in horror as his ship's systems displayed the truth. Their prized AI cores, reverse-engineered from ancient ruins, had been compromised years before they'd even installed them. Every secret transmission, every strategic plan, every weakness, Earth had known it all. The HMS Defiant moved into position, its weapons arrays reconfiguring to target the Kraken flagship. Captain Priya Patel's voice joined the channel. "Your entire fleet has been neutralized without a single shot fired. Earth has been preparing for this moment since we first detected your probes in our space 20 years ago." Throughout the sector, more human ships emerged from stealth, each demonstrating capabilities that defied conventional military doctrine. The message was clear: Earth hadn't just been watching, they had been systematically preparing for every possible threat. In the Sovereign's command center, Harrison received updates from Earth Command. Similar scenes were playing out in other sectors as humanity revealed the true extent of their preparation and power. The careful plans of 50 years were coming to fruition. Sir, Martinez reported, we're receiving transmissions from 17 previously unknown species. They are requesting protection and alliance with Earth. They've been watching too, waiting to see if someone could finally stand up to the militant powers. Harrison nodded. This had been part of the plan as well. Earth's demonstration of power combined with restraint had given hope to countless civilizations that had lived in fear of the stronger species. The Zetharian flagship approached, Admiral Krovak requesting permission to dock. Unlike the Kraken Dominion, the Zetharians had chosen wisdom over pride. Their decision to ally with Earth would reshape their civilization's future. Captain, Arya interrupted, analyzing the Kraken fleet's data cores. They were planning to access the hegemony's abandoned superweapon facilities. Their AI had already begun the activation sequences. Harrison's expression hardened. Earth's intervention hadn't just prevented a power grab, it had stopped a potential genocide. The Kraken Dominion's leadership would face justice, their crimes exposed to the galaxy just as the hegemonies had been. Send word to the relief fleets, he ordered. Begin the humanitarian operations. Show the galaxy that Earth's power isn't just in our weapons, but in our ability to heal and rebuild. As if in response, massive hospital ships and aid vessels dropped their stealth fields, their distinctive white hulls marked with Earth's medical insignia. They had been waiting in reserve, ready to help once the fighting ended. The power shift was complete. In less than 2 standard days, humanity had emerged from obscurity to become the galaxy's predominant peacekeeping force. Not through conquest or intimidation, but through careful planning, superior technology, and a demonstration of power tempered by wisdom. Message from Earth Command, Wong announced. Operation Sentinel is now active across all sectors. The galaxy's entering a new age, sir. Harrison watched as the first age ships began their work, bringing hope to worlds that had known only war. No, he corrected quietly. The galaxy's finally entering an age of peace. And we'll make sure it lasts. 1 month after humanity's dramatic entrance into galactic affairs, the Grand Council chamber of the newly established Galactic Concordat hummed with activity. Representatives from over 300 species gathered in the massive space station that Earth had revealed in neutral territory, a diplomatic facility that had been secretly built years ago, waiting for this moment. Captain Harrison stood at the observation window of the HMS Sovereign, watching as ships from across the galaxy arrived for their historic gathering. The living metal of his vessel rippled with patterns that reflected the stellar light, a reminder of how far human technology had advanced beyond conventional understanding. Final security sweep complete, Arya reported. All delegations have been screened. No hidden weapons or unauthorized AI systems detected. An hour, special guests. Harrison inquired. The former hegemony leadership and Kraken Dominion commanders are secured in the Justice Center, Technical Director Martinez confirmed. Their public trials will begin tomorrow, with evidence spanning 50 years of surveillance. Lieutenant Commander Wong approached with a holographic display showing the latest intelligence. Sir, the last of the hegemony's hidden superweapon caches has been neutralized. Earth Special Operations teams are really something, they've been disabling these facilities for years, right under everyone's noses. Harrison nodded, remembering the careful planning that had led to this moment. Earth hadn't just prepared for war, they had prepared for peace, methodically removing the most dangerous weapons from play long before revealing themselves. The chamber's main doors opened, admitting Admiral Krovak of the Zetharians, now serving as the first non-human commander in the joint Earth Defense Fleet. The massive warrior's scales gleamed with new insignia showing his dual allegiance. The smaller powers are still in shock, Krovak reported. They can't believe how thoroughly Earth had infiltrated every major civilization. Your observation posts were everywhere, yet no one ever detected them. That was the point, Harrison replied. Earth learned from its own violent history. We knew that when we finally revealed ourselves, it had to be with overwhelming technological superiority and incontrovertible moral authority. No half measures. The station's quantum arrays activated, creating a massive holographic display visible to all assembled ships. It showed the true extent of human preparation, thousands of stealth installations throughout the galaxy, monitoring posts in every major system, and a network of advanced AI systems that had been quietly guiding events for decades. Captain Priya Patel's voice came through the command channel from the HMS Excalibur. "Sir, the last of the refugee ships have been safely escorted to their new homes. The humanitarian fleet reports all medical emergencies are under control." This was humanity's true victory, not just in stopping wars, but in healing their aftermath. Earth's medical technology, like their military capabilities, had developed along paths that the galaxy had never explored. "Signal from Earth Command," Wong announced. "Operation Genesis is commencing." Throughout the galaxy, cloaked human stations began activating new quantum communication networks, offering free access to all species. The age of secrets and hidden power plays was ending. Earth was creating transparency on a galactic scale. In the Council Chamber, the first session of the new Galactic Concordat began. The laws were simple but revolutionary: mandatory transparency in military development, shared medical and scientific advancement, and joint peacekeeping forces led by Earth but incorporating all member species. "They are calling it the Pax Humana," Martinez noted, reviewing the galactic news feeds. "1 month ago, we were unknown. Now we're the guardians of galactic peace." Harrison watched as former enemies sat together, discussing cooperation instead of conquest. The Zetharians were sharing their warrior discipline with smaller species, teaching defense instead of aggression. Former hegemony worlds were embracing democracy, their populations finally free to choose their path. "It's more than that," Harrison replied. "We're showing them a different way. Earth's history taught us that true power isn't in destruction, it's in the ability to prevent conflict before it begins." The Sovereign's sensors detected a subtle shift in space-time, more ships arriving from Earth. Not warships this time, but vessels of peace, research ships, cultural exchange vessels, and diplomatic craft. Humanity was fully emerging into galactic society, ready to share knowledge while maintaining the strength to protect the peace they'd created. "Message from all Earth vessels," Arya announced. "Operation Starbreak is complete. All sectors report stability." Harrison allowed himself a small smile. The warning that had started with one human warship entering a battlefield had evolved into something greater, a new era of galactic civilization. Earth had emerged not as conquerors or victims, but as guardians and teachers. "Send word to Earth Command," he ordered. "The galaxy is ready. Begin Phase 2. As the Council Chamber erupted in applause at the signing of the first Galactic Concordat treaties, Harrison reflected on the journey. Humanity had spent 50 years preparing not just to survive in a hostile galaxy, but to transform it. The warning issued by a human warship had become a promise of peace, backed by power that no one could challenge. The new dawn had arrived, and it shone with the light of human wisdom combined with human strength. The galaxy would never be the same, it would be better.